Hey there, everybody. It is time for another segment of Renewing the Mind and the Body for Healthy Living. And we are back with the Bishop Car Chronicles. And while the notifications are going out, I want to send a happy birthday shout out to my friend and brother, Mr. Carlos Gray. And if today is your birthday, I pray that your day is filled with many blessings, gifts, and love from all around, and that you enjoy as many of the sweet things as you desire. Just don't make yourself sick, all right? It is your day. You have been waiting 364 days for this one day to come around, and it is now here. It is your time, your turn to go out, celebrate it, live it up. You deserve it. All right. And if this is your first time watching one of these broadcasts, I want you to know that they are always to encourage you, to empower you, to educate you, to motivate you, to inspire you, and to uplift you, to move towards your destiny, operating in the purpose for which you've been created, using the gifts that are within you. I want to say hello to everybody that is coming into this broadcast right now. Thank you so much for tuning in and tapping in. I really appreciate it. I hope that you are having a most wonderful Wednesday. And I'm going to share some wonderful words of wisdom on this Wednesday. But just before I get into that, we have just come out of the Thanksgiving holiday season, and I hope that you all have enjoyed yourself and your time there, and that it was a most wonderful and blessed time for you all. And I was having an opportunity to talk with my wife about the holiday season, and sometimes we know for some people it's not a joyous occasion because we understand that there are some people who have passed away around this time. Of course, some people ended up losing their relatives on Thanksgiving. And so, sometimes it's not always exciting and joyful. But however, we know and recognize that there are blessings from God all around, all the time. And so therefore, we are thankful and we are grateful for every day, every opportunity that we are given to be a blessing as well as to be blessed. So I hope that you all were able to spend time with your family, friends, and your loved ones, and that your heart was able to be filled with joy and laughter and peace and fellowship. So I want to say again, as I'm going into this particular broadcast, I'm not going to be on here very long. But as I said a little bit ago, that I had a whole lot to say. And I did not speak at that particular point in time because, of course, my passion was stirred. And so one of the things that I learned is that if you're going to do anything, you should do it with passion. I don't care what it is that you're doing. If you're going to sew clothes, you should do it with passion. If you're going to do nails, I think you should do it with passion. You're going to do hair. If you're going to cook, if you're going to be a business owner, you should do it with passion. Whatever your passion is, whatever it is that you really enjoy doing, you should do that with passion. However, there's also something called wisdom that goes along with that. And so thank you so much, Terrence. I see you. Thank you so very much. It says, always glad to hear uplifting words, tired of the negativity. You and me both, my brother. And so I want to continue to share positivity here. And again, as I said, that these broadcasts are always to encourage you, to empower you, to educate you. And it is always something for you to really take an introspective look within. And so it's never, ever to, hey, Dana got me chuckling already. I love Dana. And so it is for us to be able to take a look within and to always correct and to upgrade or to mature and to make better ourselves. These broadcasts are never ever to try to clamp down on somebody or to clap back at somebody or to say, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you're doing wrong. This is for you. For those of you that are listening, I'm always talking to you. And if you share these broadcasts with your family and your friends, and I'm talking to them as well. But it is something for us. It is something for us that we can get some reminders, if you will. We can get some encouragement, again, to try to make ourselves better, to try to do better, because one of the things I learned is if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. And so one of the things that I learned is that we have to be able to tune in and tap in and be able to get some information from some other source or resource that will help make us better. So I have been sharing these posts here talking about I just cussed. And so a lot of people thought that I was talking about profane or profanity. And so, no, I'm not talking about those words that some of y'all and y'all family members use, and some of those words that I heard growing up as a young man. I'm not talking about sugar, honey, iced tea, and I'm not talking about forget ugly, crooked kings. I'm not talking about them words. And so the words that I'm talking about that are cuss words, and there's a difference between curse and cuss. Where I grew up, it was a lot of cussing. It wasn't a lot of cursing going on, but it was a lot of cussing going on. And so I had said that, that I just cussed, and the word that I use, or the words that I had used to denote that I was cussing, and the cuss words I'm talking about are words like maturity, responsible, responsibility, accountable, accountability, submit or submission. If you have ever used those words, depending upon where you are, those will be deemed as cuss words. So you have cussed. You are a cusser. And so the first word that I want to talk about today is, and I'm getting off of here, I'm about to go. First word that I want to talk about today is the word mature and maturity. And so I understood that when, to get a better understanding about the word mature, it means to be fully grown or fully developed. It means to be complete in knowledge, complete in judgment. And so one of the things that I learned is that when you start to interact with other individuals of different ages, you will start to see the different stages or phases of their maturity. And so this is one of the things that, again, if I'm cussing out on this broadcast. I just want y'all to know it. And if you have ever used the word mature, listen, or maturity or maturation, you have cussed. So I ain't in this thing by myself. And it depends on who you're talking to, because see, some people can take that word mature, they can hear that word mature, and they can apply it properly. And they be like, you know what? You show right about it. You show is right. But it means to be fully developed. And one of the other definitions of mature, it means to be ripe. It means to be at a stage of growth and development as to be ready for reaping or gathering, eating or use. So one of the things that I started to realize as I operated and interacted again with people in different settings, in corporate settings, in the world, in grocery stores, in church settings. And one of the things that I was able to see is the level or the different phases or stages of individuals' maturation. Now, one of the things that really baffled me is the fact that I kept running into a lot of older people, if you will, naturally, because mature means to be naturally developed or at the place where you're completely developed. And so these are individuals who are well into their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s physically, but however, their emotional and mental capacities are still as the antonym of mature, which is childish. Okay, I'll let that be a Selah moment. I'm going to say it again, that the antonym of mature is childish. And so their emotional and their mental capacities have not developed as their physical bodies have developed. So you start to see this, watch this, you see this in the choices that they make, and you see this in their conversation, in the way that they're able to dialogue, and you also see it in their actions. And so one of the things that I understood is that, you can be a 43-year-old, but your emotional and mental state can be as a 6 or 7-year-old because it has not matured. Now, here's the other thing, that there are some, if you will, physical challenges. I will say it that way. There are some physical challenges that make it a little bit more difficult for some to mature emotionally and mentally. However, when you have a perfectly healthy individual, I'm going to say a perfectly healthy individual who has not matured to a certain place mentally or emotionally, watch this, that is what I would term as ignorant, because mature and maturation and maturity, it is a choice. You have to choose to mature. Now, how can I say that you have to choose to mature? Because it means that you have acquired or obtained knowledge. That's one. And not only have you acquired or obtained that knowledge, but you have accurately interpreted the knowledge and you have accurately applied the knowledge. And so as you exercise the application of the knowledge that you have required or acquired, then you start to mature. You become more developed. Again, they use the term ripe, and so that deals with fruit. So when you look at certain fruit, let's take, for example, a banana. Bananas, as they are ripening or as they're maturing, when they first come out, you see them in a green color or a greenish color. And so that means you cannot eat that fruit at that particular point in time, because if you eat it, it's going to cause your digestive system, watch this, y'all, to become sick. It's going to cause it to react in a way that is not healthy for the body. So oftentimes we have to wait for the bananas on the outside to become a yellowish color. And then one of the things I understood, as the more it browns, if you will, if you allow it to continue to sit out, it's going to turn from yellow to a brown. And they say that those bananas are even some of the best because you're able to get the most ripe nutrients from it in a brown stage or a brown phase. But if you try to eat that thing in a green stage, it's going to make you sick. If you try to use it in a green stage, it's going to make you sick because it's not fully mature. Thank you, Ebony. I appreciate it. And so what we see with people, watch this, with people, some of their mental and their emotional capacities are still in the green phase. They're still in the green phase. They have not matured to a yellow phase where they're ready to be used, or where they're ready to be gathered, where they're ready to be, if you will, handed out, or interacting with other people or other individuals and help bring them to a place of maturation. And the only way that it happens for us is if we choose to. You have to choose to mature. You have to choose to grow up, because otherwise you remain as a child. And watch this. What do we see with children? Children are so irrational, and they are so erratic in their behavior. They're erratic in their speech. And that's because their maturation and mental emotional capacity is still in the green phase. It has not matured to the yellow phase. And it only matures to the yellow phase not only as they grow up, but as they receive knowledge and judgment, and they accurately exercise and apply that knowledge and that judgment. So then they start to, watch this, mature in their choices. And so one of the reasons why you see some people keep coming up with the same outcome, they keep ending up with the same type of relationship, they keep ending up in horrible situations and circumstances, because they have not matured in their thinking. They have not matured in their acquisition, if you will, of knowledge that will help them to not make the same choice or not end up in the same situation. So what this is about today, this is about you looking at yourself, and this is about you taking into consideration your choices, your knowledge bank, your emotional capacity, your mental capacity, your vocabulary, looking at that to see, is this still in the green phase like the banana? Or has it ripened to a yellow phase? Or has it even fully and completely matured to a brown phase? Because if not, if you're still in the green phase, that means you still need to look for more knowledge. You need to get some more resources. You need to sit down and you need to, watch this, mature. Because one of the things that happened, Terrence says, staying stuck in that rut. Absolutely. You keep running around in the same rut. So one of the things that happen is you and I, we have to, watch this, y'all. We have to interact with other humans in this planet, in this earth realm. We have to interact with other humans. And if you have not matured to a place mentally and emotionally where you're able to interact with another human, watch this, and produce something that is positive, or produce something that others can use. Watch what I'm saying now. Hear me what I'm saying. If you have not produced something that others can use, there is a good possibility that somebody is still in a childish phase. Somebody is still in the green phase, and they need to mature to the yellow or the brown phase. I hope what I'm saying is helping somebody. I hope what I'm saying is encouraging or educating somebody. And so one of the things that happen is it takes a mature person. I'm getting ready to go. I've been on here too long. It takes a mature person, because we got to grow up in our thinking. And that's what these are always about. Renewing the mind and the body for healthy living. You have to mature and grow in your thinking. If you don't, you will stay in the same space. And then you're going to be looking up 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And watch this. You're going to be physically older, but mentally and emotionally in the same place. I'm trying to help you to grow so your feelings won't keep getting hurt. Woo! I'm trying to help you to grow so you won't keep getting angry. I'm trying to help you to grow so you won't have to continue to extend forgiveness. Listen what I'm saying, or to help you to be able to release forgiveness to whoever has offended you. Because listen, you have to mature. And so it takes maturity, and I put this post up today, and I said, I had an opportunity where I could have clapped back and where I could have popped off in a situation. And you want to know what happened? I didn't. Why I did not, or why I chose not to clap back or pop off, is because I've matured. And my maturation, my knowledge bank, watch this, I'm not in the green phase anymore. I know that I'm in the yellow phase and pretty close to the brown phase, because what I ended up understanding and exercising judgment is to know that clapping back, popping off, it's not worth it. And I'm not going to act like a child when I'm a whole 39 years old. Come on, somebody up in here. Some of y'all are older than me. Y'all in y'all 40s, in your 50s, and you still acting like you a whole teenager. What in the world is wrong with you? I'm going to tell you what's wrong with you. You have not matured. You still in the green phase mentally and emotionally, and you have not ripened to the yellow or brown phase. And so what I want to encourage you to do If you want to mature, if you want to grow, if you want to ripen beyond the green phase, you need to sit yourself down and become more knowledgeable about the situations that you find yourself in, and then even become more knowledgeable about the people that you have to interact with so that you can exercise wise judgment. That's how you start to mature. So for those of you that are following me, and for those of you that are seeing my post about hashtag I just cussed, just know I just cussed all y'all out. I just cussed all of y'all out that are watching this broadcast because I use the word mature. For some people, it's a cuss word. If you've ever used it, you cuss too. So you can put that on your post. Hashtag I just cussed. And I want to let you know that I love all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Share this with some of your family members and your friends and help them to mature and grow up. And then watch this. It'll move from being a cuss word to a word of empowerment, to a word of growth, to a word, watch this, of education, to a word of wisdom when you hear the word mature, because you know that that's a phase that you've already been through. All right. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I pray you've been encouraged, educated, motivated, empowered, inspired, and uplifted to move towards your destiny, operating in the purpose for which you've been created, using the gifts that are within you. Thank you for tuning in for these Wednesdays, wonderful words of wisdom. Please take it in, take it to heart, use it, let it mature you, let it grow you, and find yourself in a better place of life come this time next year. I love you. I'm signing off by saying hello 2019. We've only got a few more days left in this year and we'll be in 2020. But guess what? It's still the same. I'm going up and so are you. That's right, Lady Vera. We are unbothered. Why? Because what's to come for you and for me is better than what's been. Matt Love.